Hey, it's MJ from the Coaches Panel. I hope you're well and welcome back to another episode on the channel. Today, we're talking about the AFL fixture. The 2024 fixture has dropped and it's got the fantasy community absolutely buzzing, from opening round to a bunch of mini buy rounds, and then, of course, the more traditional buy block in the middle portion of the year. It's got the AFL Fantasy Dream Team and SuperCoach community going, what the heck? So what does it mean for us in 2024? Right now, not a whole heap. I will come back to the fixture in a moment, but right now there are a bunch of different elements we need to know before we can start effectively putting our strategies in place in Classic, or for draft coaches and commissioners, starting to figure out how we're going to navigate our way as fairly and evenly as possible through the 2024 season. The reality is there's always a handful of things we need to have in place before we can really start putting strategies. The fixture's one of them. It's a really important piece of the puzzle, from how we manage our way through the multi-buy rounds. Players that might be a value pick at the start of the year that have got a nice matchup of 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, guys that have impending tags that might be coming their way. These are important elements, but a fixture alone, you just can't build a strategy off that. At time of recording, we're a couple of days out from the upcoming AFL draft, and based off previous seasons, it's anywhere from 10 to 14 days that champion data after that hand over the positions to the formats, and we start to find out the positions that our players will start with for the coming season. But fixture and positions, as important as they are not enough. A further 2 weeks or so after the positions go live, sometimes it's a little bit less, 7 to 10 days, the prices get allocated and the team pickers in SuperCoach and Dream Team are out and revealed. It's where they take the seasonal average, put it alongside the magic number. If there are any discounts due to injuries and things like that, all of a sudden then we start to know what the prices are of our players, the positions they have, and who they'll be playing when. But these three things are not enough to help us with a strategy. There's another really important part, and that is, what are the rules and what are the trade things that have, and the new elements that are coming into the game. One thing we do know, and it's really the only format that's been vocal, is AFL Fantasy and some of their kind of voices behind that format, especially over on the social media platform of X, have basically not just alluded, they've almost flat out said that opening round will not factor into the Classic game. They haven't been as direct to say it is definitive, but they've pretty much said that on X at the moment, meaning it will start in round 1 and then we will have a more quote unquote traditional season, but nothing more detailed about how we handle those mini buys from round 2 to 6 through there. And then what we do in the middle portion of the more traditional buys. Historically, we could probably guess best 18 and 3 trades per week come in. AFL Fantasy have given a small glimmer, but Dream Team and SuperCoach have been really quiet. Until we know how many trades we've got, what are any new trade things that have come into the game, we don't know. What are the ways they're going to cover these mini buy rounds at the start? Are they going to make any changes or not? Frankly, until we get that confirmed to us from the game makers, worrying about the fixture, it almost could be a moot point. Now, I know you look at, people like a Melbourne, where they've got that late buy round in the mini buys, and then they've got one right at the back, and it makes someone like a Gawn or an Oliver or a Petrarca potentially really hard to go and start. Sydney and a Brodie Grundy and a Taylor Adams, you could build a similar case that this is going to be really challenging. The value of a Sam Walsh, who I know a lot of people want to start with, but with Carlton having one of those first early buys, all of a sudden it can start to create chaos for us about who we pick in our sides and the way it works. But the reality is, you're spending mental calories, for sake of a better term, on something that right now you don't know what it means. Rather, use this time to draw in the information about the players you like. With the draft, what does this mean? There are compounding things that this can mean. With clubs coming back and starting to hit and get through pre-season, now we start to get to see things. My encouragement for you about this with the AFL fixture is this: Sure, at first thought, it can look like absolute chaos for us in the fantasy community. But at the end of the day, good coaches are good coaches are good coaches. You can, and they do, find ways to navigate through every single challenge that the game formats can throw at you. So if you're a good coach, embrace whatever the challenge is. It's a good thing for the game when there are nuances that are different year on year, and it forces you to not just get into a rut of structure and strategy and gameplay, but look at the new things that are there. So if you're a good coach, embrace the chaos, but don't waste mental calories on something that right now, there are way too many unknown variables to get too worked up and worried. Life's too short. Don't panic about that. Enjoy the game of fantasy football. Whatever formats you play, whatever styles of salary cap or keepers or single season drafts you play, we will know a lot more over the next 3 to 4, maybe even up to 6 weeks. And then we can start to embrace things. The good news is here at the Coaches Panel, we're going to keep you right up to date right here on this channel, as well as through podcasts. Wherever you get the podcast, just search for the Coaches Panel. You'll find us. We'll keep you update there over at our website, coachespanel.tv. And if you want to follow us on social media, all the links are in the description of this video. Make sure you follow us on all those platforms so that as information breaks, not just about the fixture and how the formats will handle all of the potential challenges that will come our way, but everything we want to bring to you this 2024 preseason. The good news is we're not too far away, like I said, at time recording, a couple of weeks away from the positions, that and the fixture, the prices, the game formats opening up. It's all starting to get really, really serious. But for us here at the Coaches Panel, everything really kicks off January 1 with the 50 most relevant, where I count down who I believe are the most relevant players across SuperCoach, AFL Fantasy, and Dream Team in the coming fantasy season. If you've never done a preseason with the Coaches Panel, you're going to enjoy this. Videos, articles, podcasts, landing every single day with my opinion on who I think are the most relevant players that are worthy of conversation and consideration. We'll even do a little video explaining that as we get towards around Christmas time. Thanks for watching. Make sure you've subscribed to the channel if you haven't already. There's still plenty of videos dropping, not just 2024 preseason content. We're reviewing still some of the players that have moved clubs via the trade and free agency period, so you can go back and check those out. But thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing and following us here on YouTube. And we can't wait to chat with you again soon about another thing that's going down this upcoming preseason.